Welcome to the Transmission Coaching Podcast, powered by ATRA. Today's podcast is sponsored by Gears Magazine, your magazine for the automatic transmission rebuilding industry. Be sure to get into Gears. Get your free subscription at gearsmagazine.com. Click on subscribe. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the Coaching Podcast. And now here's your host, Coach Lance Wiggins.
Welcome to the Transmission Coaching Podcast. My name is Lance Wiggins. With me today is my wonderful co-host, Miss Nessa.
Hey.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the new website that we've put together for the Tech Center. This has been a heck of a week, Vanessa. I know.
I've steered clear of your guys' department.
I really appreciate that. I know that there's certain times during the year where each of us get pretty overwhelmed. And this last week, ATRA, which was our technical database for over 10 years now, is gone. When I mean gone, I mean poof, it's gone. Microsoft ended up buying them out for something in the hundreds of millions of dollars, which is great for them. But it left us with quite a bit of scurrying around, and during the process, we went with a Microsoft type website. And as you know, anytime there's change in your life,
Kicking and screaming.
it's rough,
It's
right?
painful.
So the website got launched on Wednesday. We didn't have too many calls. I think that's a plus. One of the searchability functions that we're working with is very similar to the Google search. Almost every single person on the planet Earth, if they have not used Google before,
Then there's something wrong.
you either live under a rock or some jungle in faraway places. But using that searchability, I think will help our members. Did you ever use our tech site before? Not too often, probably.
I didn't use it, but I went around, just kind of trying to see how easy it is for people, so that I have at least some idea if I had a conversation with someone about it.
Right.
But I haven't seen the new one.
So the new one's pretty trick. It's clean. Not a lot of buttons. One of the complaints, where's all the buttons? So we got rid of all the buttons.
But there would have been complaints if there were too many buttons.
Yeah, the 50-50, right? There's the 50-50 again. The 80-20 rule. Always bring that up. Yeah. The search bar is huge. It's right up front. And right now we're kind of delving into getting the unique search with the optimal search. With Google, you type in, 4R100 video or whatever the case is, and it kind of autofills. That's what we're working on now. But with the site, yesterday we figured out that if you type in 4R100, everything that had a 4, an R, and a 100, it could be in incremental orders. It could be 4T60. It could be, RE4, RO1A. It could be 100, which was either it brought up 70,000 articles of nothing. And then we narrowed it down, and it narrowed it so far that nothing came up.
From one extreme to the other.
Yeah, and so the pendulum was on both sides, and I don't claim to know too much about web-based stuff, but I'm talking to the guy. I'm like, man, look. So we're over here in a myriad of throw up, basically. And then over here, we have nothing. I'm sure that somewhere in the middle, we could probably figure out what's going on. So this morning, I was happy to see it at 5:15 a.m. that they had done that. They had made some changes, and then putting in some of the search features, which we think will be fast and help guys get to what they need in a hurry. Now, a couple of issues that we probably should have addressed a little earlier was that, some transmissions that we had listed are almost identical, where we have 4R100 E4OD, AF21 and TF80SE are the same transmission. So those are the things that we're kind of dealing with today. Yesterday, I had a guy call me, and so Sean and I had been here at about 4:45 in the morning yesterday, and we took about a 20-minute break at lunch, and then he had ended up, I scattered him out pretty early, but it was after 3 o'clock, so I was getting ready, for this 12-hour day, right? And I had a member call me up, and he was going to town. I mean, he was working me, How come you guys are constantly changing your website? I'm thinking to myself, we haven't changed our tech site in over 11 years. So it's been the same. And well, I can't find anything here. I can't find anything. And I had some legitimate complaints. Like, it was true, right?
Sure.
But at one point in time, I said, did you go to lunch? While he was screaming at me, did you go to lunch? And he's like, what? I said, did you go to lunch? He goes, yeah. I said, did you eat? Because you sound hangry. And he says, I ate. I said, are you full? He's all, I'm full. I said, then how can you be so full yet so hungry to keep chewing my ass? Like, stop. And he's just all, okay, look, man, I'm just trying to fix this transmission, which we've talked about before. Time is a big issue for these people.
Yeah.
Doing these podcasts, giving them an opportunity to listen to it on the, online, or listen to it online, or listen to it in the background, or listen to it on the way home, giving them an opportunity to search and get searchable information in a timely fashion. All of these things are for the improvement of our industry. And one of the things that I mentioned to him and to some of the other calls that we had were very simply put, look, we don't want to be in the middle or the end of this information coming to you. We want you to be at the cusp of it, so you get it, you learn it, and it becomes easier as we go forward. We don't want to be 4, 5, 6 years down the road, and then all of a sudden introduce, hey guys, we're going to do webinars. It's 2025, right? I mean, webinars are so 2005, right? And so we want to give them the newest opportunity, the best opportunity to get as much information as they possibly can, as fast as they can,
and in many different formats,
and in as many as they can handle. Right.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
Kind of like, so there's no excuses. We've tapped into the person to person at the seminar. We've tapped into the watching of the webinars, the reading of the books, the listening to the podcast, so many different ways. So
how many times have you, and I could allude to this here in a minute, but how many times have do you go on YouTube at all?
YouTube, I don't search on YouTube, but if something is, a lot of articles will link their video, of course, through YouTube. So there I am. But I do know that, man, it's kind of crazy how much YouTube is used.
Chris, our engineer, is in the background. Is YouTube you use YouTube a lot, right? Almost every day. I thought I heard someplace somewhere down the road, maybe a year ago, maybe even longer than that YouTube search engine encapsulated Google search. Like it was now the world's most searched, like its search engine was the world's biggest search engine or most used search engine, something like that. My son is tearing apart his Suburban. We're taking the heads off of it because it's got lifter noises, and everybody's saying, "Oh, it's a collapsed. It's a camshaft. The camshaft is hammered." And I was trying to explain to him, okay, first we need to get the intake off. We need to do this, that, there, and the other thing. Most motors used to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he goes, no, I think this is different. Well, he pulls up YouTube, and sure enough, it's got it. And I said, all right, cool. And then we pulled up YouTube to look at lifter and camshaft, failures. And we ended up finding out that he did have a little bit of a hydraulic lifter collapse, but more so as the rocker arm and the push rod, which is, still part of the unit. But I told him, I said, this would be great to have videotape this, put the videotape out, and then maybe we can use it for somebody else to use, just like we're doing here, just like we're doing with our our new training systems, which we're coming out with starting in October. Having that video associated to your training styles, and using YouTube as part of another way to get out to our members and non-members, for that matter. I mean,
the industry, really.
The industry. That's what we're here for. Facebook
and all generations too. That's the other thing.
Hugely.
Yeah.
Do you think? I know you talk to a lot of shops, like I do, but our communication with shops and your communication with shops are totally different, right? Do you think, from your perspective, that given the examples of seminars and expo presentations, that we're getting more attendance at the seminars this year than we have last year, or is it about the same? Or
it's pretty interesting. This year's seminars so far, the majority of them have either matched last year's attendance or passed. I would say, so I think we've had maybe close to 20 seminars so far, and I think less than a handful have come back with less than what they had in previous years. So really good growth. One seminar, I think, even had a 30 or 40 person increase. That was pretty big.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. I know that it seems that there's more technicians wanting to go to the seminars and or look for other opportunities to get trained.
I think that I feel that I've noticed in the media a lot more lately, there just being a lot of attention on the training and the self-improvement in general. And that's for any industry. I'm not just talking about ours. And so because I've wondered the same thing, we try to pinpoint what it is different this year that we've done or that we're offering, obviously, to try to repeat it.
Right.
And myself personally, like I said, I think I've maybe noticed an influx of just that being, just that really pushing to people, making them realize that, you're in charge of your.
Well, I think there's other things, though. There's other influences that will steer people to do or make decisions. The election, or one of my sons is graduating this year, so spending money right now prior to graduation is kind of like, I don't know if I can't afford that $200 right now, but I will.
The weather.
Yeah, the weather.
And I mean, we can't forecast that at all anymore. It seems like, and so whether it's bad weather or even good weather, they're going to make the decision, whether to go
one way or the other. But look, I think what last time we talked, Minnesota had something like 24 inches of snow in the spring. It was a late spring,
Yeah, and
people,
that was in April.
People in Alaska might sleep 14 hours a day during the winter, but they're awake for 20 hours a day in the summer. So, they're going to get every part of that sun that they can for sure. So, we have some special guests coming in next week. We're pretty excited to have our board of directors in, and we're having one of our annual meetings that we have. And some of the things we're going to talk about primarily is chapter and chapter involvement. And I know that you have some, you've worked with some chapters with regards to seminars, but I know that there's more than just seminars that chapters can do. Can you give us a little insight on that?
So yes, I do work closely with the chapters all year long with their respective seminars, of course. But just like you said, there are plenty of other things that chapters are there for. The primary reason for the chapters is to engage those in the industry with local activities. And those activities can be anything from working with your community college, with these incoming students, local advertising to promote business, meeting with these chapter shops to discuss topics or suggestions, or just plain brainstorming.
I thought I saw some kind of I want to call it career day. Mm-hmm. Something like, I think the Gulf States chapter did that. Laura Wilson and Donnie. Is it Donnie? Not Jonathan. It's Jonathan. Jonathan is the chapter
Yes,
now.
Jonathan.
So,
yes, Gulf
so
States.
yeah, so I think they did some kind of career thing at Advanced Transmission there. So along those lines of getting
Exactly.
out to the populace there.
Exactly. It helps these shops, rather than be seen, in this huge pool of, the U.S. and Canada, you're able to kind of have more of a local focus and kind of start there. Yeah, and it's free. It's free. There's no extra charge to being involved with your chapter. If you are an ATRA member, you're just automatically a part of your chapter. So I would highly recommend checking into their events that they have.
So what else, other than just events, are chapters like, I guess they don't have to be responsible for anything in a sense, right? But what are some of the benefits of being a chapter?
So you've got your local support system, really, if you think about it. You've got other people. You can help each other out. You can gain awareness to not only the industry but to the association, and to your business, really. So it's kind of
give and take with
exactly
with the community.
Exactly. So you can also sponsor other shops for HRA membership.
Little leagues.
Yeah. So.
Baseball, football, or soccer, basketball, whatever, any type of youth sports. Okay, cool. Part of I remember when I first started working for ATRA, this is a long time ago, but when they mentioned chapters, to me, a chapter is its own entity of the association in essence, right? And so, but they have the availability of not only putting on their seminars, like I believe the Midwest chapter does, which they're in charge of their own seminar, but also events like I think the Southern California chapter did or sponsored the Cars on the Coast or something like that.
Classics on
the Coast, which had something like 400 different types of classic cars downtown Ventura Main Street. Other events like car care type thing where they have, they invite customers into their areas. Other events like cornhole tournaments or any type of golf tournament that will sponsor, and I know that a few have done motorcycle poker runs as well. So a lot of different things to drum up awareness for the thing. And I'm looking forward to talking to I think it's going to be Brad Benrud and Dave Wilkes about what their involvement is and how they see their chapter going and what ideas maybe, because I think that's the biggest thing about being an ATRA member in essence is that, I could have some great ideas. You can have some great ideas, them, him, them, but it's all the ideas together that kind of formulate these different success matrix, I guess if that's what you want to call it, success
we'll
matrix.
call it that.
Sure, I like that. So is there anything else as far as chapters go, like as far as, if they want to put on a specific seminar in a location, how does that go?
So if there's already a chapter in that particular area and they have the need in an untapped area of the U.S. or Canada to host a seminar, we'll look into it. We'll start plotting. We'll look at how many potential shops could attend. We'll look at the cost of having the event there, and seeing if it's feasible. Every year we'll make changes, whether it be adjusting the city from one neighboring city to the other, moving them in different parts of the calendar for various reasons. So things are done.
Hunting and fishing reasons.
Yeah, there's that.
and summer boating.
Exactly. So, if they have the strong desire, that they give me a call and we start from there. We start talking to local suppliers as well. They have a lot of good feedback on their clients there in the area and what would be a good spot, and kind of go from there.
I remember doing setting up a seminar in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and which is literally on the border, and it's the very northern tip of Michigan. I think Sault Ste. Marie is actually Canada and Michigan. I think it's one of those. Right. And one of the shops was up there, and he says, man, we really need you up here, because for them to go down to any place, that's hundreds of miles. You're up on the upper peninsula there, or the UP as they would call it. And, that's a long ways to go, similar to we've been to a couple spots where we've only had, maybe 35, 40 guys. Well, Alaska was another one of them. And I think that's what kind of transpired us and our thought process to go with the webinars initially, is to get those guys trained. Normally, driving 500-600 miles to go to a seminar is tough. It's hard to do. So that was one of the purposes. But also, once they get there, or once we go there, to enlighten them on some of the things they may or may not have seen. I think that was another advantage. But I remember setting up that seminar, and there was like 25 people that showed, and I'm thinking, man, this place was beautiful. Like the whole, out of all the countrysides, I mean, it's very foresty. It's not very metropolitan. The population isn't big, but it just reminded me, and I think it reminds us as an association, that there are a lot of people out there that are in need of things. A chapter in that area might be able to help them. Definitely. Obviously. And then also getting their training through the internet, and through, whether it's a podcast or some sort of webinar training, some sort of video training that we can offer them. I think that would help them be successful and continue to grow. So definitely. Oh, well, I think it's going to get better. What they say, usually it gets worse before it gets better, but I think it's going to get better from this point on. I think our website is it's on the move, and I know that I just got finished writing an article for June, and I said by the time this article comes out, our website will be launched. So yeah, we're looking for feedback, of course. So if anybody has any feedback, you can.
Constructive feedback.
Feedback is feedback. Yeah. I think all feedback's constructive. So, but you can reach us at lwiggins@atra.com. And if you have any questions regarding any of the podcasts or any questions regarding events, you can contact ATRA at www.atra.com. I'm not giving you the phone number. You have 25,000 phone calls, all pranks.
Oh, no.
Well, thanks for coming today.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Next week, look forward to having our board here and doing another successful podcast. It's a great day to fix transmissions, so let's keep fixing transmissions together. Thank you.